Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I've had a lot of people ask me, what are you doing with your training? Could you break down the specifics of your training, what you're doing with it, what your goals are, rather than us watch all these different training videos so that we just kind of get an idea. And I think that's a great video for me to cover today in the current events. Rather than talk about other people today, I'm going to talk about what's going on with my own training and my own goals. Because, a lot of people are like, why do you talk about other people? Talk about yourself. Okay, well, I'll do that. So a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on. Some people didn't even realize that I'm just recomping now. And I thought I'd made that clear a while back. I'm sitting at 220 and I'm recomping. Long story short on that, I reached a number of months of cutting after losing 27 pounds. So that's after the initial water loss. I didn't even count the initial water loss. I got 2 weeks into my cut, then I started tracking. And I weighed in for you guys and everything. But I dropped 27 pounds over the course of about 6 months, 5 to 6 months. And what you find when you talk to most experts, they'll tell you, look, don't cut longer than that. Doesn't matter if you're far away from your goals, you will start losing muscle. And I had to take that advice seriously. Too many really intelligent people who actually even are bodybuilders and other stuff too, who have actual backgrounds in this stuff, advanced degrees, have said that. Like, you really got to reel it in at that point. 20 weeks tops. And I think that they're right. And I realize, yes, I do need to get leaner. And I do want to make that clear. I'm not done cutting and I'm not going to bulk. I think I need to recomp at this current body weight, and I need to get all my basic lifts back up. You guys know I quit bench pressing. You know I quit squatting. I've started doing both again. And I've decided I want to get really strong at all my basic lifts and use those basic lifts to recomposition myself. So that as my work capacity improves, I'll burn more fat doing cardio. As I recomposition, my overall TDEE will go up. That will facilitate more fat loss down the road. And if I'm smart about it and I choose to just slowly recomp at this body weight while I work on rebuilding my strength, I won't have to take a step backwards, meaning I'm not going to bulk. I don't have to bulk to do this. It's going to be a slower process. It's going to be a time-consuming process, but I've outlined strength goals for myself. And when I reach those strength goals, I already know at that point my work capacity and my muscle are going to be about the most they're going to be. It'll be time to go ahead and start gradually trimming the scale back down again at that point. But what I'm doing as far as my training itself goes, I have a 4-day-a-week split. For those who aren't understanding the science behind it, I can briefly break that down as we go. But yes, I have a day dedicated to the overhead press, a day dedicated to the paused bench press. By overhead press, I mean standing press, touching the chest, knees locked, strict press. A day dedicated to the conventional deadlift, and a day dedicated to the pause squat. So in other words, everything I'm doing is hard. Everything I'm doing is training from a dead stop. And I'm doing a very difficult rep and set protocol. I'm utilizing a weight that allows me to do triples with, and I'm grinding my way towards 10 triples. And what I've ultimately decided is that at this point in the game, I don't have the recovery to deal with a lot of accessory work. All right, I don't have the recovery. I'm not bulking. I'm not blasting gear. I need to build my strength base, really build my strength base back up on these lifts. I need to focus on these lifts, and the hypertrophy and recomposition will come with it as long as I keep my diet on point. And I'm very happy about that. I didn't really splurge hard on Thanksgiving, which surprised me. I prepared for it mentally to go in and just feast, and then I get to the Thanksgivings. I went to a couple different ones, and I really didn't eat the way that I thought that I was going to eat. So at this point, that made me realize I've gotten pretty disciplined with my diet. And I guess losing 27 pounds consistently, doing a lot of cardio and with clean eating, I guess that'll do that to you. I just got back into the good habit of eating well, and it's like I didn't really go crazy on desserts. I had a little bit, like 500 calories of dessert, and said, okay, that's enough for a whole month. I'm good. And I ate a lot of turkey, a lot of fruit, a lot of potatoes. So it was all good. But back to the training, as long as I keep everything on point and I allow myself to recover, this will work. So what I'm going to do is try to push out the 10 sets every workout other than the deadlift, because I don't care about my deadlift going up. It's almost at the goal weight that we need. So I can let it coast a little bit and put my focus on the other 3 lifts. So what I'm doing, I'm going to get my 10 sets. In other words, if I have to strip 20 pounds off the bar to get the final sets, I will strip 20 pounds off the bar. But the goal will be to get to 10 sets of 3 on all these exercises with any given weight. When I get there, I will increase it. I'm about to have to get microplates because all the pressing, I'm not going to be able to do 5 and 10 pound jumps on the pressing. I'm probably going to need to get microplates and do 2.5 pound jumps. So when I get 10 sets of 3, I'm going to add 2.5 pounds. And I'm going to have to take my time. Some people say like, well, you know, how long of a break should you take? As long as you need. The scientific data is pretty conclusive on that if you have to take a longer break to replicate the same weight, take as long as it takes. A lot of strength coaches will tell you, you know, when you're lifting really heavy, if you need 10 minutes between sets, then take 10 minutes. So I have the free time to do this. I'm a full-time YouTuber. Take long breaks. Get my sets in. And if I've got to reduce weight, reduce weight. But the goal will be to get 10 by 3 sets across on everything, then increase the weight. And as far as accessories, I'm not doing any other than chin-ups now. I've ultimately decided chin-ups are going to give me the most balance for any weak muscles, and this is going to give me the most balance for my physique. So after each workout, when I get home, and some people will be like, why are you waiting until you get home? Because I'm really tired after grinding out 10 sets, particularly the deadlifts and squats. I don't think I could do a single chin-up after I do my deadlifts right now. I don't think it's physically possible. So when I get home, I go ahead and I do a couple of sets of chin-ups from a dead hang at the bottom so that I get the deep stretch, dead hang chin-ups, and I bang out 2 work sets with whatever weight feels relatively fatiguing, or as far as total reps go. I'm really just doing a body weight. I weigh 220 right now. That's a reasonable amount. You know, if you get a fair number of reps, 220, it's not bad. Getting some decent stimulation considering I've done the heavier work first. So that's what I do, and then I do a little bit of band work, some stuff for my rotator cuffs, and I do rear delts. And again, why throw in bands for rear delts? I've been doing that for a while. I've always been a believer in that. I have been for many years. It just creates good stability in your shoulder girdle. Not only for guys chasing aesthetics do the rear delts tend to lag. Rear delts tend to lag for people who bench press heavy, and it contributes to shoulder injuries. That's the entirety of my routine now. Those 4 lifts on their own days, followed by chin-ups and shoulder work with bands when I get home. I think I'm going to be able to carry this out for a while. Now, because we have strength standards on that, I will eventually really fine-tune the technique and work on power cleans and maybe eventually power snatches also. But right now, because of the nature of my age, the aggressiveness of this program, I don't think I have the recovery for those extra lifts. These 5 I'm doing is enough, and with the amount of workload I'm doing with the 10 triples, it's really a lot. I just don't feel that at this time that if I start adding more exercises that I'm going to be able to recover adequately. So what are my goals? Well, you guys know I've shown the charts before. My goals right now are to get my 10 sets of 3 with the advanced line for my 220 weight. So the advanced line for the bench press is 305. That's going to be the hardest one for me to reach. People say, why? We've seen you bench more than 305 for more than 3 reps. Well, it gives. That was a few years ago in the UK. And walking around at a slightly higher body weight and eating more. That's a big factor, guys. Let's be frank here. Which 2 factors do we know contribute the most to the bench press? Your food intake and drugs. All right. You can eat your way or blast your way to a bigger bench press no matter where you are. I'm not doing either. I'm maintaining body weight. We know bench press out of the big 3 has the biggest correlation to body weight. Also has the biggest correlation to drug dose. So either one works well. Actually, guys can get really fat and get a really strong bench, almost as well as guys on drugs. In some cases, better. So either one works, but I'm not doing either. So I'm going to have to really grind my way to that one. I'm predicting that's going to be the hardest of my 4 lifts to reach. The squat, 410 for 10 by 3. I've done that before on camera. It's about the time I get to 500, isn't it? So beltless squats, 410 for 10 sets of 3. That's the advanced line. Deadlift, 480. I just work at 475 now. I could probably grind out the 10 sets at 480 if I really pushed it refreshed, if I really pushed myself to the limits. That one won't be that hard to reach. And then the overhead press, and it's surprising to me the overhead press is only 185. 185 is the advanced standard for my body weight. So I need to get to 185 or 10 by 3. When I get all 4 of those lifts to the 10 sets of 3, I will probably say, okay, we're good. We've recompositioned. We have the strength base we need again. That I will go ahead and start slow cutting again after that. But the goal is to maintain 220 until then. Use this to build my work capacity, build my metabolic rate, build my energy turnover, recomposition a bit. Then continue the cut. I think after that, getting another 15 pounds of fat loss or so, I think it'll come just as easily as this first 15 to 20 did. I think it'll come just as easy because I'll have the work capacity and the higher energy turnover to pull it off easier. I probably will not have to restrict my calories very much. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.